Hey everybody, welcome to Cheap Comic Collector. Today, the light turned on. Today we are starting the big project of creating a list of everything that's in my collection. My current list is all messed up from me selling and changing my mind about issues back and forth on whether I want to keep them or not, and so on and so forth. And so I really need to create an entirely new list from scratch, and we're going to start that today. And it's going to be a long series of videos. We might not even get, if I'm going to record it all, I may not get done by the end of the year. All right, so yeah, we're going to start making my list today. I just use a Microsoft Word document to list the books. I put in like the series, publisher, uh, what years the series ran, which is very important since so many series have multiple volumes now. And then how many issues are in that set, and then which issues I have. Uh, and it's a huge list. My last list I printed out once upon a time, and that's not it. Sorry, thought I had it printed out, but that's not my list. I think I actually threw that one away because it was so outdated. It didn't matter anyway. But so a few goals, right? Make sure everything's bagged and boarded because I've been slack about doing that. And eventually, I think I may move the storage of the comics to the garage. Um, and so I want to make sure they're protected if I do that, as much as possible. And have fun, of course. It's going to be a little bit slow going, so I apologize for that. Basically, these are videos that you can just, turn on in the background if something cool comes up you want to see, because it'll take a few minutes for me to look up the series and write it all down and so on and so forth. So it's going to take a little time, but we'll just go through it, maybe talk about the issues a little bit, depending on what pops into my head as we're going through. And what I expected to do was to start with the earliest ones that are in the boxes. But in what actually happens, and I've mentioned this before, is I have my short boxes stacked. There's 5 high, right? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's probably about 20, 25 stacks of 5 boxes each. On top, so filing one comic book at a time takes forever if it's not on a top box. So because you have to, it's like playing Jenga. You got to move all the boxes around to get to the box you want to get into. So what I do is I take one of the flat rate boxes, um, from Whatnot that I get in all the time, like these up here, and I have one on top of each stack of boxes. And so as I add to my collection, I just plop them in those boxes for later filing into the bigger boxes. So that when I do it, it's worth my time doing it. Um, and so even that becomes an endeavor because by the time I do it, there's a whole bunch of them, right? There's a lot of books sitting on top of the boxes that haven't been filed yet. So today we're going to start with that earliest stack, but those go from the 1930s to 1961. And we're not even going to get into a box today. We're just going to go through the books that are sitting on top because I did finally get some Golden Age bags and boards in yesterday, so they're all bagged and boarded. But I need to put the little labels on them of what year they're from, so when I'm filing them, I know where they go. So we're going to go through those books today that are on top. So they may be, some of them may be ones you've seen recently. but the stack's been building for a little while, so we're gonna start with those, and then the next time I do this, which will probably be the next episode, um, we'll start in the box with the earliest comics. So, so the goal today is just to go through this stack right here, which had been piling up. And not only that, but I also have a short box that I need to go through just to put in the extra boxes that are on the top that I haven't gone through yet. So I'll probably finish that later today if I have enough time. I'm trying to squeeze this recording in. I'm way behind on recording. I have absolutely nothing recorded right now. Usually I'm at least a week ahead of time. It used to be a month ahead of time. Now I'm got no lead time at all. I'm recording this on Saturday. It'll probably get posted on Monday. So I'm gonna try and do like a video recording every day just to try and get caught back up again. In a couple months, maybe I'll be ahead again. I don't know. It depends. I still got a lot going on that I need to take care of. So I'm gonna record when I can and when I feel like it, right? Because sometimes you just don't feel like it, and I want the the stuff to be uplifting and fun and so on and so forth. So anyway, a lot of talking. Let's get looking at comics. Let me switch over to the other camera.
Hello, kitties. Today we present the very first horror comic, Classic Comics 13, based on the novel by Robert Louis Stevenson, adapted by Evelyn Goodman, and art by Arnold Hicks.
And thanks for being here, by the way. Appreciate that. We're still doing our live stream sales on Saturday and Sunday, so check those out. Sunday is a members only channel or show, so consider joining the channel. You get first dibs on the incoming books if you do that. So we're gonna go through these books, and we are gonna get my little address labels out here and a pair of scissors so I can cut them up. Hope your day's going good. There we go. And we are gonna put it right up here. So got this one in the other day, and unfortunately it was in the members only sale on last Sunday, or the previous Sunday from when you view it, I guess. And unfortunately it was incomplete. I also pressed it because it was folded over pretty badly. It's in really poor shape, as you can see. It's got insect damage and so forth going on. And somebody did want it, thank you, Mike, but it was incomplete. So I had to, but I did find the pages on the internet, so I made it complete for my collection. And it pressed out really nicely. I did not use any moisture in the pressing of this one because it was in such sad shape. I was afraid I would add to the damage. So I pressed it with just heat, with no water, and it actually turned out really good. But this cover is in such poor condition that it's already very limp. So on its own, without putting water on it, so I don't know if that's one of the reasons it turned out really well. But I didn't want to risk the water. I figured the worst case scenario is that it maybe would yellow it a little bit from the heat or something. But it turned out really nice compared to what it was. It's still obviously a very poor copy, but this is number 61 from 1953. And we're just going to go through these. That's the back cover, if anybody's interested in what the back cover looks like. License plates from Wheaties. I remember getting a license plate from a cereal box back when I was a kid. Oh, I misplaced the sticker because of the didn't have the comic book in there. Luckily, it came off real easy, and I didn't have to waste that. So, and then as you know, if you're watching my channel, I don't use tape on these, on the bags and boards. I hate tape; it ruins everything, and you don't need it. You can just fold them in there. Um, so let me bring up. Let's see. I gotta bring up Grand Comics database. Look up Lone Ranger. All right, Lone Ranger, Dell Comics, and bring up my Word document as well, and try to do a split screen here so I don't have to jump back and forth all the time. All right, Lone Ranger, Dell, 1948 to 1962. Dell had it. And it actually had a number one. It did not start in 4-color. So it went from number one to 145 issues. And this is number 61. Got some cool covers on this series. I'm going to have to, hopefully, I can find some more of these. I like that. I love the mask uh, logo, too. That's cool. And next up, I already did this one because I looked it up the other day because the Archie facsimiles do not have the original year printed in them. So I had to look this one up to see what year it was from. And I filed the facsimiles in as if they were the original because I'm never going to have the originals, more than likely, unless I find a really beat up copy. But I do have to look it up to add to my new list. So look up Archie's pal Jughead. Oh, a few different volumes of that. Interesting. All right, well, this would be the original volume. And this one went from 1949 to 65 is the first volume. I think after that it just became Jughead. I think the series continued past that, but it was just named Jughead without the Archie's pal on there. 1 to 125 issues before the name change. And this is number 78. And in my list, I'm going to put an F next to that because it's the facsimile, right? But we're also going to add this somewhere else because what I discovered when I was looking for the year is Archie's actually has their facsimiles as an ongoing series. So this is the title of this is actually Archie Facsimile Edition number 6. So I think that's cool. I really like the fact that they did that. I don't like the fact that they didn't put the original year in there anywhere. But I like that they're doing it as a series instead of just a bunch of one-shots. I think that's very, very cool. I mean, the only place that numbering is going to be is in the small print, but still pretty darn cool. And I don't know if Grand Comics Database has them listed that way or not. Let me see. Archie's Facsimile Edition. They do not. So I don't actually know when these started. This one's from 2025 because it's brand new, but I don't know what the first one was, and I don't know what year it started. If it was in 25 or if they started actually in 2024. Let me go back to Archie's Pale Jughead search and see if they have the new. No, they don't have that listed either. Archie. Let me try Facsimile Edition one more time. There he is. I put an S at the end of it, I think, when I did it. So they do have it listed as Archie Facsimile Edition on Grand Comics Database. Now, one of the problems I have with the series is that they do reprints of recent comics as well as the older stuff, but they reprint stuff that really doesn't not need to be reprinted at all. They redid Veronica number 202, which I think was the first appearance of Kevin Keller. But that just came out, not that long ago. I mean, it was a few years ago, but still, it's I don't know. It seems like facsimiles should be old stuff, right? And most of them are. Uh, Looks like they started in no year. 2024. There it is. 2024. And so I'm going to put 2025, even though it's I'll just put in a P for present. So 2024 to ongoing present time, basically. And so far, there's 6 issues. I know there's more because I ordered the next one already. But we'll put down 1 to 6, and I have number 6. So I really like the fact that they numbered them as a series. I think that's cool. That way you can, I don't know, it helps. Next up, Del Giant. Good stuff. Little Lulu Tubby Annual number 2 from 1954. And it's actually Marge's Little Lulu Tubby Annual. That does make a difference when you're trying to look stuff up. I never used to pay any attention because when you look up Donald Duck, you look up Donald Duck. You don't look up Walt Disney's Donald Duck, right? But everything else, other than the Disney books, you pretty much gotta know. Because there's also Little Lulu books that aren't Marge's Little Lulu. It's just Little Lulu. So the problems of a comic collector, right? So they had their 2 issues published in 1953, 1954. And this is number 2. I should show the back cover as long as I'm showing it. Kind of a funny gag on there where she's shaming him for taking her dolly carriage wheels by making him be the dolly carriage. And I like this front cover too. Very creative. Next up, we got a Donald Duck. Gold Key. This one's in really poor shape. It's got this big old rip. Somebody cut through it. Number 85. And it's from 1962. Back cover, same as the front, without the logos. Gold Key invented the Virgin cover. Look at that. They just did it on the back. Donald Duck. We'll be seeing a lot of Donald Ducks throughout this series of videos, especially in the 80s when Gladstone was putting them out. What am I looking for? 1962. There we go. Donald Duck. Gold Key. 1962. Oh, this is actually the first issue. Continuing from the Dell numbering. So number 85 to 245. And as long as I'm here, to save time later, I am gonna type in the Dell series, which was from 1952 to 1962. And that went from issues 26 to 84 because the first 25 issues were issues of the four color series. And then after Gold Key, Gladstone, it continued with the Gladstone numbering. So I'm going to throw that in there too, because it's definitely going to need that down the line. They went from 1986 to 1998. And they had issues 246 to number 307. And I could keep going because then it went to Gemstone, then it went back to Gladstone, then it became like Boom or IDW or something. But we'll stop there. Go on to the next book, which is another Dell. This is Walt Disney's Moon Pilot. This is actually a four color, number 1313. I was looking at information on Dell publishing on the Grand Comics database the other day, and it said that Dell basically published like 6,800 comics somewhere. It was a number somewhere around there, 6,700 something. And my immediate thought was, well, over 1,000 issues of that were four color. And there was actually two series of four colors, right? The first series only lasted like 25 issues, I think. There was a lot of one shots. They're kind of hard to identify because they're not really, numbered individually. But But that ran from 1939 to 1942. And then the second series restarted with a number one. So I'm not sure why they did that. Because that's not something Dell would normally do. It's taking a little bit of time for Grand Comics Database to load that page. There it goes. So they didn't really have any weight in numbering. The second volume started the same year the other volume ended, so 1942 to 1962. And then they went from uh, number one to 1,354, but they only have 1,332 issues because there were skips in the numbering towards the end of the run, mostly, I think. And some of them were, I think I saw a list one time where somebody was tracking down all the missing issues where they became, some of them were printed as like movie classics or movie comics as standalones, and they just weren't really numbered as a part of the four color series, even though that's, they think that's where the gaps came from. And for four color, I actually put down each individual number and then the title um, on my list. Just eventually, that's going to be a huge list if I get all 1,000 and some issues. But that's the way it goes. So this is number 113, and I got to look up the number. I'll look it up on here instead of opening in the bag. That'd probably be quicker. And unless Grand Comics Database takes its sweet time opening the page, then it may not be quicker. So Moon Pilot was a Disney movie, obviously. It does have a copyright down here of 1962, so it's probably from 1962. And there it goes, finally. And there it is. Yes, 1962. Which apparently was Dell's. Well, it wasn't their last year of publication, but it was when the last year they would have had the Disney license, because then it went to Western Publishing with the gold keys and all that stuff, right? So, Space Mouse. Gonna have to open this one. I can't. There's no number. And it needs a press. So one of the other goals is to just put stuff aside that needs to go through the press. And this one obviously needs that. This is Space Mouse number 1. And it's actually, once again, you got to look at the name on the top. It's actually Walter Lantz Space Mouse. I'm going to have a hard time getting used to doing that. There was a previous Space Mouse in 1953 published by Avon. Each series had 5 issues. But I don't think that other one had anything to do with Walter Lantz cartoons. Uh, 1962 to 1963, this one was published. And this is number 1. Cool. Again, back cover, same as the front, which is nice, especially in this case, because somebody had a stamp of their name or Raymond Chin and stamped it throughout the cover. So I'm gonna put a sticker on this one, but we're actually gonna put this aside to go be a pressing project to straighten out that spine. So this is number 1, 1962. So yeah, gonna put this in a different stack over here, I guess. And I think that's just Ducky. All right, so this is, I believe, an issue of 4-color, but it does have the Movie Classic logo under the Dell imprint there. So could conceivably be part of either series you wanted to list it under. But pretty sure, because the number is 1251, pretty sure it's going to be under the 4-color. And this is a terrible movie. You'd think with Mickey Rooney and Buddy Hackett in it, it would be a decent movie. It is not. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mood to watch it, but I do remember watching it and basically having to grit your teeth to not turn it off and get all the way through it. So and there it is. This one also from 1962, but it had an on sale date of 1961. So, but we go by the cover dates as much as possible. Something I forgot to do with this one is I usually, for the 4-colors, I put FC up in the corner so that I know it's a 4-color, because otherwise, if it's a series like Donald Duck or something like that, I may tend to try to file it wrong and not work, because I'll just go by the title and, you know. All right, next up we have a Zorro issue. And I believe this is a 4-color as well. quite a few price stickers stuck up here. I want to try and get those off. There we go. Came right off. And this again is a really, really poor copy. That's okay. I don't mind poor copies as long as they're there. And water damage is hard to take because that usually turns into mold. But somebody taped this big time, and unfortunately, it's still all ripped up. But yeah, it says Zorro number 933, so this is going to be a 4-color. And might have to look this one up to find a year. Copyright 1958, I think it says. But since we're already on the 4-color page, we're just going to go back a couple pages to find this one, 933. Got to go back quite a few pages. There it is. 1958. All right. And you can see the two where this has got like a ink transfer from another comic or something on an ad or something on the front cover there. That's not supposed to be there. Barely a survivor. All right, so 4-color 933 and 1958. And then we have The Adventures of Little Archie, number 25. And the series ran from 1961 to 1969. It started with issue number 19 and went to issue number 53. It continued with just the Little Archie name, and before this, it was the Little Archie Giant Comics. So it did continue, just not as Adventures of Little Archie. So I think it ran for quite a while. And this is number 25. Art in this one is incredible, I remember. So I'm going to show you that a little bit. How good this is, because most people are going to just say, oh, Little Archie, big deal. But look at the art in this. Cool stuff. Hardest part of doing something like this is not stopping to read everything. this is number 25. And not should have. Well, I had it out of the bag. I should have looked at the year. Gotta look it up on the database. Winter 1962, 1963. So when they have issues like that, I always go with the first year. So a lot of DC books that were published bi-monthly will do that. They'll be like December, January issues. I always catalog them in the earliest year because you don't actually know when it was. It went on sale earlier than that, so most likely it actually came out earlier in the early year. I got a Walt Disney's Comics and Stories. Remember, this one's actually got a number on there. That's handy. And it's Adele. Walt Disney's Comics and Stories from Dell. 1940, 1962. It started with issue number 1, went to issue number 263, and this is 223. And of course, it continued under many other publishers, Gladstone or Gold Key, then Gladstone, then Disney itself, then Glamstone and Gemstone and whatever. This is 233. Nope. It is 223. Oh, I looked up the wrong number. I went to 233. Okay. Thought I had the number wrong, but I didn't. I looked up the number wrong. So this is volume 19, number 7, which is a lot of the times the way they numbered this series. Sometimes you got to do some looking to figure out what number it is. And so this is 223. Yes. And that's 1959. And I don't think we're going to have time to get through these going this slow. It's going to take forever. This is number 214. Which is volume 18, number 10. And that one's from 1958. Bugs Bunny's Christmas Funnies, number 5. Sweet. This is going to be one of those Dell Giant annual series. And they actually had a few name changes and stuff throughout theirs. those series as well. So this might be different numbering or something. Nope, in this case it's not. They had 9 issues, all under Bugs Bunny Christmas Funnies. I always love the Dell 100-page giants. Man, they're just so much fun, especially the Christmas issues. First one came out in 1950, the last one in 1958. So yeah, they did, that would be one a year. This is number 5. And 9 issues altogether. And this is the 1954 issue. And we got some Marvel facsimiles. Fantastic Four. Cool. And it's from Marvel, of course. And started in 1961. And took them until 1996 before they decided to start with a different numbering system. 1 to 416. They had 416 issues of the first run. This is number 4 facsimile. And I definitely need to get the rest of these facsimiles when they do these. I know they did like the first so many issues or something. And I do have another one, I think. And this is only the first issue had a cover date of 1961, so this is from 1962. And of course, this is a facsimile. But that's how I listed the facsimiles. I also have number 5, which I should actually put in the same bag if I'm double bagging. So we're going to switch that one out. So yeah, if one was 1961 and the rest it'll be 2, 3, 4, 5 back to back. So 4 and 5 will end up in the same bag. Not only does that save me a bag, but it's more importantly, it saves a lot of space. Because if I'm going to collect every single comic book ever published, it's going to take a lot of room. All right, so we actually have 5 in here as well. So we're going to put the 5 underneath the 4. 4 and 5, 1962. That's how we does that. And got another facsimile, Brave and the Bold. This is in a bag. It's already got a sticker up here, but it's kind of fallen off. I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'll actually reuse it, even though it's kind of coming off. It's gonna get sticky if I take it all the way off, and then the bag is useless. So I'm gonna cross off whatever was originally there. This is Brave and Bold number 29 facsimile. And Brave and the Bold, of course, was DC Comics. Title they've reused quite a few times in different series, different ways. Started in 1955. Went to 1983 when it was replaced by Batman and the Outsiders. It had 200 issues. And this is a facsimile of 29. Which I believe was not the first Justice League of America, but the second. And this one's from 1960. So we're going to 1960. And it was the April-May issue, so that would have been second issue for the year. So we're going to put the 29 over on this side to leave room for the 28 when we someday get it. See how complicated this is, guys? Not easy peasy like it should be. Wow, that's an old beater. Sad Sack Comics. Beautiful. Number 49. And of course, Sad Sack was published by Harvey for many, many years, starting in 1949. And all the way up till 1982. And then it was probably rebooted or something. It had 287 issues. And this is number 49. Oh, and that one's from 1955. And Harvey actually had a odd, I don't know if they were published every month. It looks like at that time it was being published monthly. This is the August issue. So we put that to the right, in case I ever have a number 48. All right, let me see how long we've been running. It feels like it's been a while. Getting close to an hour. We'll do a couple more. I had to go help my mom earlier, so I know I'm not going to be. I know I'm going to cut off at least a little bit off the time. All right, so this is one I made a cover for. It didn't print. I was running out of ink, so the colors didn't print exactly correctly. But it was just to put a cover on the old coverless comic. And luckily, whoever scanned this one scanned it all, so you have the great inside covers as well that otherwise I would have missed out on. So this is Little Archie in Animal Land, formerly Little Jinx, it says in the small print. I don't think there was a whole lot of the ones where he was in Animal Land. Only 4 issues. Published in 1957 to 1958. And it had an issue number 1. And then it had an issue number 17 to 19. So that's a little confusing. So the 17, which is this one, continued from Little Jinx, number 16. So this is number 17. And then no information on it continuing after 19. So might have stopped there. This is the winter 1957-1958 issue. So 17, 1957. Cool. Oh, here's one that I need to. I haven't already done it. Oh, I have. Its cover's been laminated. Secret Hearts from DC, number 50. And that ran from 1949 to 1971. And it did start with a number 1 at 153 issues. This is number 50. And it is from 1958. I laminated the back cover as well. It's just something that I do when the covers are really bad and going to just continue to deteriorate rather than losing them. I would like to get this sticker off down here. Hopefully it doesn't leave the bag sticky. I'm always afraid that when I take a sticker off of a bag, it's just going to leave the bag sticky. And that can create problems when you're trying to slide them in and out of a box. But I also don't like having them on there. So, a little bit on there yet. And we'll just leave that little bit, I guess. But I don't think it's sticky. Kind of a little rough, but not really sticky. And then this is one that I printed out the cover for again. This scan was apparently very murky. The way it printed out, it's it's not well defined, with the Strange Adventures and stuff. So I'm thinking that it came from a photo or an old fish scan or something. I also had to print out some pages for this one that were missing. First centerfold. And unfortunately, I didn't do them right. This was an early attempt where I printed it wrong. I didn't expand it to fit the page. Although the artwork is basically the original size, as you can see. It's because when they scanned it, they trimmed the border of the pages. Sometimes the scanner does that. I'm not sure why. It seems like a lot of extra work just to. I guess it presents a little bit better on a website, maybe. But whatever. And of course, Strange Adventures was DC. Looks like it started in 1950. And went until 1973. And had 244 issues. And what issue was this? Number 5? Am I reading that right? It's hard to tell with it being so blurry. Oh, yeah. It's not real clear on either one, but pretty sure that's number 5. I'll be able to tell for sure once I bring it up here. Incredibly early issue. Yep. Number 5 of 1951. And Grand Comics Database has a much better picture of the cover. I should have printed that one out. But I'm still figuring all this out as I go. So. Oh. Almost put it on the comic. Don't do that. 1951. And was the second issue published in 1951. All right. Well, we got about almost halfway through that stack. This is going to take even longer than I thought it was going to. But we did get through this many. We'll put Space Mouse off to the side so I can put it in the press to fix that spine a little bit. And then we are going to put these into order by year so that I can slide them into the boxes once we get to those boxes. So we got 1951, Strange Adventures, 1958, Secret Hearts, 1957, Little Archie in Animal Land, 1955, 1960, 1962, 1954, 1958, 1959, 1962, 1958 again with the Zorro, 1962. I think 1962 is the year I had the most of this time around. Everything's ducky. Or no, that's 4-color. See, I almost did that. See what I did there? I almost did it in the wrong spot. So 1251, 1313 with Moon Pilot. Donald Duck is its own series. 1954 Dell Giants. Had 2 Dell Giants in there. 1961 and the Lone Ranger 1953. So we had books from 1951 to 1962 today. Didn't get very far. If that's all I'm going to accomplish for an hour worth of work, it's going to take us a while. I have many, many, many comics. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate you being here. And I hope it wasn't too boring for you. And I will see you next time.
The trumpets shout and the trombone glide. I found my crew on this crazy ride. Turns his wounds wail like a midnight train. Thank you, super friends, you keep me sane. Oh, thank you, super friends. You've got my back through the twists and bends, in a world that spins and never ends. Thank you, super friends. The drummer kicks with a thunderous beat. We march together, no retreat. The bass walks steady, the piano plays. You light my nights and brighten my days. Through storms and sun, through highs and lows, you're the rhythm that my heartbeat knows. We're a symphony, a jazzy blend.